Application of spatial technology in degraded forest management and climate change mitigation. See, there is a fast urbanization, development, and as a consequence, there is a depletion of natural resource or exploitation of natural resource, degradation of air quality, water quality, and so on. So geographical information system play extremely important role in forest management, natural resource management, ecosystem management. An effective strategy for enhancement of atmospheric carbon absorption productivity is through forest development in degraded forest areas and wasteland development. Forestry sector has significant emissions removal capabilities, which can further be enhanced by operationalizing major afforestation and reforestation initiatives and programs like National Mission for Green India, besides continued strengthening of the present protection regime of forests. Different type of wastelands require different strategies for their development. Atmospheric carbon management is also major problem before world community, and the pollution control management. We all know the consequences of global warming. There is a problem with biodiversity, then disease, starvation, food scarcity, then water, somewhere flood, somewhere desertification, then coastal areas problem, rise in sea level, temperature extremes. All these problems are associated with the global warming. That is because uh, imbalanced utilization of resources, whether it is fossil fuels or others. So GIS in climate change research, it play a very important role. Because GIS role in special analysis of event, data and situation related to climate parameters. Therefore, it is extremely important in climate change research. The primary goal is to help stakeholders. Stakeholders can be any citizen, NGOs, government agencies, or international agencies that clarifies and secure their common interest in exchanging information and knowledge concerning climate and environmental variability. So GIS modeling concerns both the location of the measurements of a place and parameters value related with any parameter or event related to climate. Forest control climate locally, regionally, and globally. The climatic database should contain information about source and way of interpolation of continuous features on the basis of point information. Therefore, application potentiality of remote sensing and GIS for modeling and vulnerability studies are vast and broad. I'll give an example how GIS can be used based on remote sensing data and GPS together in an integrated manner. It is a case study of Sirsa block near Nepal border. I done this project long back at Department of Space, Dehradun IIRS, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. So data used methodology includes basically collection and entering of primary and secondary data. Secondary data was collected from various sources and reports. Primary and secondary data then were analyzed in GIS. So analysis procedure includes 3 steps. First is creation of input data in GIS. And I used GeoMedia, that is from Intergraph. Then second step is spatial analysis or modeling. And third step is preparation of final output. Because GIS is a powerful tool, as I already told you, this slide I have previously also shown you. GIS has all the functionality of conventional database management system plus much more functionality of a computer mapping system. So this was the flow chart which operate in GIS system. So equation or the syntax was used in the GeoMedia GIS. In my research work was this. I wrote the equation output is equal to select these figures you can see on monitor. And I done overlay of open forest degraded map area with groundwater potential map. Then step 1 was with step 2, that is soil texture map. Then in step 3, step 2 was repeated with soil fertility map. And then in step 4, step 1, 2, 3, repetitions for various combination permutations based on my syntax or equation which I wanted. This was the land use map of the area which I generated in land for Sirsha block. This shows forested area, cultivated area, construction villages, all these things. This shows open degraded forest area. You see red patches which I demarcated with red colors. They are open degraded forest area in the block. Then this is hydromorphology of the area. And this was also created as map or a layer in GIS. Because hydromorphology give potentiality of groundwater. And this is water potential map. So this block is rich in water. Only few marginal area in the south is have less water potentials or some scarcity of water. Otherwise, whole block is rich in water ground prospectus. Then I generated a soil fertility map like loamy clay, loamy sand, clay loam, like this. So this is the soil texture classification map. Then a soil fertility map was also generated in GIS. Then finally, I analyzed all these data and generated a map that is known as suitability map for open degraded forest area. I wrote a syntax, for example, first equation, show me the area which has better quality of fertility, which have better quality of water prospectus, which has a more favorable slope, and so on like this. I added number of data and layers in my analysis and run the modeling in GIS. And finally, this was the output, which you are seeing on the screen. So in the red, very less red in this area or map, you can say it is highly suitable. That means areas which are in red must be given first preference or priority to develop into the forest, because these areas better fertility, more favorable slopes, much better groundwater prospectus in terms of drainage and potentiality, groundwater potentiality, and so on. Then moderately suitable is shown through pink colors. And then dark blue is marginally suitable. That means third priority will be given to marginally suitable, and other all areas not suitable to develop. So further estimates can be done for estimation of carbon from the forest to stabilize carbon dioxide. And there is considerable self-damping effect that will moderate the future increase of the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration. Some of the carbon dioxide is also absorbed by the oceans in addition to forest, but by and large forest absorb the carbon. As you know, the mitigation measures are those actions that are taken to reduce and curb greenhouse gas emissions, while adaptations measures are based on reducing vulnerability to the effect of climate change. So mitigation therefore attends to the cause of climate change, while adaptation addresses its impact. Some of the mitigation measures that can be taken to avoid the increase of pollutant emissions are practice energy efficiency, then greater use of renewable energy should be there. Electrification of industrial process must be there, and there should be efficient means of transport implementation, like electric public transportation, bicycle, shared car, and so on. Then there should be carbon tax and emission markets for proper management of climate change. In terms of adaptation measures, there are several actions that helps in reducing vulnerability to the consequences of climate change. For example, more secure facility locations and infrastructures, landscape restoration for natural landscapes and reforestation programs, then flexible and diverse cultivation to be prepared for natural catastrophes or any hazardous events, then research and development on possible events like earthquakes, temperature behavior, etc. Then prevention and precautionary measures should be there, like evacuation plan or health issues in case of an epidemic or so on. About 60% of Indian wasteland can be developed to increase forest cover with reasonable efforts using GIS and remote sensing. When National Mission for a Green India as a part of National Action Plan on Climate Change becomes operational, the capability of the forestry sector to contribute in greenhouse gases removal will further enhance. Furthermore, afforestation and reforestation of 6 million hectares of degraded forest land covered under the national mission with participation of Joint Forest Management Committee. This will be able to add it to another 18 metric ton of carbon, that is equal to 66 metric ton of CO2 equivalent. So various forest ecosystems play a significant role in carbon absorption. In Indian situations and similarly in other regions on the globe, atmospheric carbon absorption productivity may be enhanced through forests development with reasonable efforts. Similarly, efforts anywhere on the globe may be useful to develop wasteland and degraded forest areas to enhance overall atmospheric carbon absorption productivity. Because we know forest improves air quality as they absorb carbon. And this was this sub-theme.